McFarlane with Kevin Edner and Wayne McFarlane and John. Wayne, you know, last week was so special. Something magical happened, but it always happens with you. But I always marvel at your ability to grab something out of the moment and take it up somewhere, or grab something from somewhere and bring it here. What happens with you? What happened last week? I think it was like the Holy Spirit was here.
My friend Major,
Hmm.
we've been in
Major
dialysis
Tops.
together for prior to me getting my kidney transplant.
Hmm.
He and I have been in dialysis for a year and 4 months together,
Hmm.
and unfortunately he's still on dialysis, and soon he'll get a transplant, I'm sure of it. And so we would sit next to each other about 3 beds. He'd be cramping up, I'd be cramping up. It's just dialysis is a miserable existence. However, it is an existence.
It keeps you
The
alive.
alternative is clearly not okay at this time for
Mhm.
most of the people. They want to move on and play guitar and sing and travel and see more things and finish that conversation they started when they were children.
That's right.
And that's what the spiritual thing with me, Major and I. We never really knew each other except for there 3 times a week for 14 months.
Mhm.
And
And so when he came in here, you were playing, and when he came in, what thoughts went through your mind? Because
it was,
I'm
praying for you, brother.
fascinated by
I'm
the
praying for
chemistry.
you, brother,
Uh,
because I understand.
uh-huh.
And I hope the magic happens and the prayers get answered for
That's
you.
right.
And then Fred Steele was here to help facilitate that
Hmm.
vibe.
Hmm.
And then there's so many other people here, like this woman, I can't remember her name, I should say this woman.
Sister Naima,
That's right.
Naima
I was gonna say
Richmond,
that. I know you
and
know about 100. But
yeah, yeah.
anyway, people were here that I knew, and everybody who prayed for me during my
Uh-huh.
illnesses, and they were here, so all the power was being
The
channeled
energy.
and recycled, as it were.
Okay, well, that's the great thing about this show, and that's one of the reasons I love working with you, my brother Wayne. This is a good chance for us to be together, because we're just remembering things from when we were kids, and as you say, recycling the same story again and again and again.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Al McFarlane. You're listening to Conversations with Al McFarlane. Again, we're broadcasting live from the Minneapolis Urban League in North Minneapolis, and we're glad to be here. We're glad to do this program. It's fun, and it's informative, it's instructive, and our intent is to create a platform where robust conversation can take place. And we create a platform where magic takes place as well. The magic is the connection, the conversation, how we address each other, how we appreciate each other, how we know each other and express that knowledge in a public venue. I'm pleased today to have one of the people who is committed to helping people understand the world of work, to make their way in the world of work. Julie Desmond, you may know her from her regular weekly column in Insight News. And if you want to reach her, her email is julie@insightnews.com. But for 15 years, she's been in employment recruiting and career coaching. She's helped hundreds of people find new work in every kind of economy. And of course, the economy we are in now is a very difficult and challenging one. So this conversation, I believe, will be important to you. For the past year, she's been the senior talent consultant with the Wallstrom Group. She places candidates in new positions within the medical device industry. And her career management advice has been featured also on jobsforseniors.com and employmentdigest.com. She believes that there is work out there, and she's here to let you know that you can find the work that you want to do. Julie, good morning, and thank you for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me here.
Well, let's go into your background. First of all, I've described a little of it, but how have you come to this work? And is it more than just a job? I believe it is. But how do you approach what you do as an advisor, counselor, an instigator, getting people connected to their future?
I think my life's work is probably about helping people. I just can't get away from it even when I'm not working. I'm supposed to be not working. I'm at a ball game and someone says, I just lost my job. I immediately turn into the employment coach. I can't help it. But I think things have changed so much over the last year, just dramatically, that right now more than ever, I really feel compelled to let people know, here's how you do it. There is a way to find work. It's harder, but if you're smart about it, you can find a job.
Let's give the sort of the lay of the land. In May of 2009, national unemployment went from 8.9 to 9.4. What else is characteristic of the job or work or economic environment?
Well, what that number means is there are a lot of people who are unemployed, okay? It's across all industries, it's impacting, and I don't need to tell anybody that. Everybody in America knows somebody who's unemployed or has been, who's looking for a job. So it's not any new news to anybody, but what it means is there's more competition for positions. It means you might have to think about how you look for work in a different way. You might have to take a lateral move. I used to tell people, no way would you settle for a job that's equal to what you have now. Always promote yourself. Totally different advice going out right now.
So you might have to take a move at the same pay scale and sometimes a little less even.
A little less. Don't
Yeah.
go too far. Don't
Right.
short, don't
Okay.
short yourself. But yeah.
What about the unemployment rates? 8.9 to 9.4%. That's the highest since 1948. But it's a different story in Minnesota and a different story for people of color. What are the numbers?
Those are the numbers that are shocking to me, and this is why this conversation is so important. What we're seeing is unemployment. Okay, I've got my, my numbers in Minnesota. Unemployment in May went up for men to 9.8%, went up for women 7.5%. For whites, it's up about 8%. Hispanics, it's up about 13%. But the one that bothers me the most is the jobless rate for blacks is about the same as it was last month, but it's 15%. That's a frightening number.
And so what does it mean for black people who are job seekers? It means the environment is just more difficult to navigate, but still, you believe there's hope.
Oh, I believe there's hope.
And so what do you do?
I think some people don't. I think it's easy to give up. Unless you've got a family to support, things like that, it's easy just to stop looking or to be really frustrated. What you need to do is network differently, learn how to job search in a way that you didn't before. I think a lot of us are used to just filling out an application, sending a resume to Monster or Career Builder. But the reality now is there are different websites. You've got to open yourself up to working in different neighborhoods. You have to open yourself up to doing different jobs and to trying new things, making sure that your education is up to date in order to open yourself to those positions that are out there for you.
The statistic for blacks, you say, is 14.9%, but that's people who are looking for work and not finding it. And the reality is there probably are as many who have given up. And so the unemployment figure for the black community may be as high as 25, 30%. We don't know the answer. It could be that.
Could be.
So it really is a daunting situation. And so how, and you mentioned going to monster.com. What other ways do you approach getting a job? Do you still go like you used to, knock on the door and ask for an application? I have heard that people don't accept walk-ins and don't accept applications across the desk anymore. Is that true?
A lot of human resource people will tell me, I can't stand the people streaming in and out of my office all day. People are demanding interviews. I don't have time to give people interviews. The shortage now is time because these companies have laid off so many people that anyone who's left is strapped. They're overworked. They've got a lot on their plates. They don't have time for anything spontaneous. So good idea to go into a company and ask for an application or to drop off your resume, but then go home, fill it out and go home, and don't demand an interview. Ask a question such as, when should I check back? I've had HR people tell me that people will stand in their lobby and that they'll demand a conversation, and what happens then is the receptionist is angry, the HR person's angry. You need to be somebody people want to hire. You need to be somebody who's cooperative, who can follow directions.
So if you come in mad at the world and mad at the receptionist and everybody else, you've basically cut yourself out of a job.
Nobody owes you anything.
Right.
And so you've got to be somebody that people want to hire. I think the people that have the best luck are the people who are networking constantly. They're not applying for just one job, and they're not expecting a job from anywhere. What they're doing is systematically telling what I call frank. Friends, relatives, acquaintances, networking groups, and the K is people who know your work. People you've worked with in the past, people who can attest to what you know how to do. They like you. They may know of a job that's open that they want. People want to hire people they like. People want to hire people they know.
Let's list some of the resources people can use to find work. What are the best resources?
Well, don't count on Monster. Okay, not to knock on Monster. I think it's a great resource.